Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bozyak Conundrum. It won't be the Bozyak Conundrum for much longer, but we'll get into all that a little bit later. I wasn't going to make this video for probably another 5 months, but I figured since everything's fresh in my mind, I just want to sit down and kind of make it right now and not make everybody wait 5 months. Or at least get everything off my mind now instead of waiting 5 months. And I think you can probably already tell just from the name of the video and the thumbnail, but how do I put this? Let me preface everything I'm about to say by saying this. I'm an American. I was born here. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here. My great-grandparents were born here. I'm fourth generation American. I grew up during the mid-'80s to late 90s. I guess you could say I was born mid-'80s and I grew up during the 90s. Now, that America that I grew up in doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't. It's gone. And I understand that with every generation, things are always going to change, and I can't be mad about that, but the values that society holds now are they're vastly different from when I grew up. And I blame a lot of that on the advent of the internet and social media. I think that those two things combined were just a death blow for Western society. These things were all created to exploit the human brain, and I don't think that's going to do any good things for society. They're not doing us any favors, is what I'm saying. So when I say that I'm an American, I'm an American. I was born here. I went to school here. All of my values are Western and American. And the way that Western society is headed right now, I just don't think that it's headed in a good direction, period. And I'm going to be 40 years old in February, and I don't know where the next 10 years of my life are going to go. I got out of federal prison pretty much on my 30th birthday in 2015. And here we are going to be in 2025, and I haven't accomplished shit. I don't feel like I've done anything of any value with my life over the past 10 years. I've a lot of personal growth, and maybe that's what this whole decade for me has really been about, is just a lot of personal growth. But what's the point I'm trying to make? I value my independence over anything else in this world. My ability to live independently in this society is the most important thing to me over anything else, and I don't feel like I'm able to, what am I trying to say? I don't feel like I'm able to achieve that, not in the way that I used to or in the way that I have been my entire life. I feel like the bar, because of inflation and just society and just the way everything's going, I feel like the bar has been raised. So whereas I once used to be able to have my own place, work a regular job, tattooing or whatever, and I could pay the bills and I could live independently. But now a one-bedroom apartment in America on average is about $1,800, unless you want to live in a part of town where you have to live in fear constantly of either your home or your automobile being burglarized or you becoming a victim of a violent crime, because that's just a reality now in society. I mean, every major city's just completely off the rails, and it's not just out west. You know what I mean? It's not just out west. It's not just California. It's not just Portland. It's Chicago. It's Detroit. It's New York. It's Dallas. It's Houston. It's Atlanta. It's Fort Lauderdale. It's Miami. It's everywhere. Every major city in America is completely unlivable because of inflation, and the crime is just outrageous. Like, it's not safe anymore. And that's what I mean by when I say that this country is no longer what it used to be, because, we've always had crime, obviously, but there was a point in time when you could vacation to other parts of the country, and you wouldn't have to worry about becoming the victim of a violent crime, and I don't think that's reality in today's America. Sadly enough, it just isn't. And I'm not going to jump down a rabbit hole and go into all the reasons why I feel like America is completely being destroyed from within. I believe that's a topic for another discussion, but I truly believe that we are witnessing the controlled demolition of Western society in real time. I feel like all of our political system's been hijacked. The corporatocracy in this country is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, with lobbying and corporate interests controlling, private government entities that directly affect the general populace of the country. I mean, it's just completely off the chain. I mean, what are we gonna do? What are you gonna do? So, I've made the decision that I no longer want to be a part of Western society. I no longer want to live here in the United States, because I feel like there are other parts of this world where people live every single day, and they not only live, but they thrive and they live happily. We've been fed this BS that America is the greatest country on the planet. It may be the most convenient, place on the planet. You can get a cheeseburger at any time of the day or night. We've got giant shopping malls and grocery stores everywhere. It's convenience. Yeah, it's convenient. And listen, there's a lot of beauty in this country. There's a lot of I'm into camping, I'm into hunting, I'm into fishing, riding ATVs, but there's a point when all of that kind of loses its value, and there isn't enough fishing and hunting and four-wheeling in the world to kind of distract you from the fact that we live in a fucking meat grinder here in the United States. We live in a fucking meat grinder. That's what this is. It's a meat grinder. You have to wake up every day and jump out of bed like the goddamn house is on fire, or else you're going to starve to death or be homeless. And I just feel like there's other ways to live. And I'm going to be 40 years old, and for the next decade of my life, I don't want it to be wasted here, just sitting around being lonely, worrying about my bills. That's not going to be my life. That's not going to be my future, period. That's not acceptable. So I'm leaving the United States. I've made that decision already. And this isn't a decision that I just made yesterday. This is something that I've been planning for over a year. I'm just waiting until now to kind of break the news to you guys. And I out of all the places I thought about going, because I looked at the entire world, and I'm like, where am I going to be able to live? Where am I going to be able to get the most value for my dollar, for the US dollar? And I've settled on Southeast Asia, period. I mean, it's a no-brainer. The Middle East is a fucking nightmare. Who wants to go there? Europe is a fucking nightmare. It's just as bad as the United States. The UK, London, almost all of Europe is just a complete and total fucking mess. Your dollar doesn't go very far. Once you start converting it to euros, actually, I think you lose a little bit. So I figured Southeast Asia. Why not? You've got Cambodia, you've got Laos, you've got Vietnam, you've got the Philippines, you've got Thailand, you've got Malaysia, you've got like 7 or 8 different countries, and I don't even have to stay in one place. I go Cambodia, I can go Phnom Penh, Vietnam, I can go to Bangkok, Thailand, I can go over to the Philippines, I can do whatever I want to do, and you'd be surprised how far your dollar actually goes once you leave the United States, and I just think that's the smartest move for me right now, is just to leave, period. Because what am I going to do here? You know what I mean? I have an education, but it's in graphic design, and that market's already been outsourced to India and all of these other countries over there, in Asia, where they just do everything for pennies on a dollar, and they do just as good as work as we do here. So my whole education, everything, all my student loans and all that shit was for nothing, pretty much, because my job got outsourced, and I'm 40 years old. What am I going to go learn a trade? Am I going to go hang drywall or become an electrician at 40? Come on. My back's already shot from doing manual labor in my 20s. So what am I going to do? Go back to prison? Because in my mind, the only way for me to make a decent livable wage in this country and be able to live the life that I want, I'm going to have to break the law. And as crazy as that sounds, I know that sounds insane, but I'm just, it's just how I grew up. It's all of the things I've been through in my life that are accumulation of, it makes me who I am. It's fucking what I'm trying to say. all the things you go through in life, the experiences, the people you meet, the things you've done, you know, all of that shit makes you who you are. You know, that dictates how I interact with the world, you know, and I'm just not willing to work until I'm 65 or 70 years old, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, you know, and not be able to afford anything and to still live in poverty. You know, I see people living in $4 million homes. I see people driving $100,000 automobiles every single day in the part of Florida that I live in. You know, I don't live in the ghetto. I live in a very affluent, upper middle class neighborhood. I would say, you know, every home in my neighborhood is upwards of, you know, $450,000, $500,000 up to $4 million. You know, and these people, yeah, you know, they got nice shit, but do they really enjoy it? You know what I mean? I mean, they leave the house at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and they don't come home till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. You know, they make $100,000, $200,000 a year, but what are you doing? How much of that do you get to enjoy? You get your 5 days of vacation every year and maybe every Sunday off if you're lucky, because you're working 6 days a week, period. You know? And this is just the point I'm at, I guess, in my life. You know, I think that this is the logical next step for me. You know, in a lot of what the main deciding factor, I believe, in all of this, obviously, is the cost of living here in the United States, the high crime rate here in the United States. But I remember when I started this channel about 4 years ago, you know, and initially I started vlogging. You know, I was traveling places, I was filming videos, I was, you know, doing vlogs, I was going in, you know, sex dungeons, I was doing the whole nine. And then I got into, you know, I stopped doing vlogging. I don't know why, because I became stationary in one place, and I feel like everything after that has just been one mistake after another. You know, and I don't feel like I've ever been back to that place where I was happy making content as when I was traveling and when I was vlogging. You know, it makes sense for me, I believe, you know, to go travel, go see the world, and just record everything as I'm going through it. You know, I'm not afraid of the camera, and I'm no stranger to travel. I've been all over the place. I've done a lot of solo traveling throughout my life, all over the United States. I was catching Greyhound buses out west and all up and down the East Coast when I was like 16, 17. So, like, solo traveling, it's not a big deal for me. You know, I'm not like scared to get out on my own or anything. But it's just this country. I've had enough. I've had enough of Western society. You know, I've had enough of I don't know. I'm just disgusted pretty much by everything, you know, and I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to go on a rant, because then I'm going to start offending people, and I don't want to do that, you know, but I just think that this is probably going to be the best move for me, is to go over here and just live life. You know, just live life, travel, experience different cultures, learn a different language, you know, and put everything here on YouTube for everybody to see, you know, and have you guys, just take you guys along on the ride with me. And like I said, you know, this isn't a decision that I just arrived at overnight. This is something that I've been planning, you know, for the past year. So, you know, I don't want to make anybody mad. You know, I don't want to upset anybody, but this is just, I feel like this is something I have to do. You know, I'm tired of living in poverty. I'm tired of having to work every waking second of my life, you know, and still have nothing, and still never make any kind of headway, you know. Whatever that is that people have inside of them that allows them to, you know, make $1 million or be super successful in this country. I don't have that inside of me. I don't know what it is. I just don't have that inside of me. You know, it's not that I'm lazy. I'm not wired. I don't feel like I'm wired properly for this environment, because it's just changing so drastically, you know. And so I'm going to go try something new somewhere else. And, you know, and I think that's the best move for me. So I don't think I'm going to have very much else to say over the next 5 months, to be completely honest with you. I actually made this decision in November of last year, and the flight's paid for, my accommodations are paid for, passports secured. Like, this isn't something that might be happening. This is something that's already, you know, all I have to do is get on the airplane in December when the date comes. And for the past 6 months, I've been working probably 8 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's really starting to fucking take a toll on my body, but it's like, dude, I've got another 5 months to go. And if I work super hard over the next 5 months, when I finally get over there, I should have, I don't know, like a 1 year, year and a half cushion financially, you know. So I won't really have to worry about money, and you know, unless I go crazy and start partying. And but, you know, who knows? You know, who knows what's gonna happen? I want to say that my partying days are over. You know, I haven't had even a drop of alcohol in like 8 years. I don't go out to bars. I don't do any of that. But put me over there in a different environment, different culture, and I'm probably going to party a little bit, not going to lie. But as long as I manage my money properly, I should be able to make it about a year, year and a half before I really got to start worrying about money. You know, and I figure by then, as long as I'm, you know, consistent with my YouTube content, even if my YouTube channel is only making $1,000 or $2,000 a month, that over there is like $15,000. It's like making $15,000 a month over here, because believe it or not, the cost of, like, look into it for yourself. Like, I'm not going to go into it in this video. That'll be a future video, but the cost of living over there is a third of what it is here. I mean, literally, you can get by on, like, bare minimum about $1,200 to $1,500 a month over there in Southeast Asia. Like, that's all you need, really. And you know, you're not living like in poverty. You're actually living a decent lifestyle for like $1,000, $1,500 a month. You know, so I'm gonna go over there with the cushion. You know, and like I said, I don't think you're gonna be hearing much out of me over the next 5 months, because honestly, all I do is work. Like, there's nothing exciting going on. I'm done giving my take on, you know, society and people, and, you know, my thoughts on this and that. Like, you know, those were fun videos to make, and I fucking love going on rants. Trust me, I love going on rants. You know, everybody loves my rants, but it's like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I'm over it. Like, I really have been checked out over the past 6 months. I've been fucking completely checked out of everything. I don't scroll on social media anymore. I don't give a fuck about, you know, the latest, you know, whatever is going on. Like, I don't care. Like, I genuinely don't give a fuck. You know, I go to work, I come home, I watch my sci-fi shit on TV, you know, and I just do my research on these countries that I'm going to. You know, I'm learning the languages, I'm learning how the currency works, I'm you know, everything. That's all I've really been doing. I've been hyper-focusing, you know, on those things. So, like I said, just hang in there with me. I've been seeing a lot of people have been unsubscribing from the channel. Just hang in there with me. When December comes, you know, and I change the name of my channel, like I said in the beginning, this isn't going to be Boziak Conundrum anymore. I'm going to change it, you know, to something more fitting for the situation. And so I'm not going to put out any content, really, I don't think, over the next 5 months. So, oh, and here's the next bummer out of all of this, because I haven't put out any content since like last year. YouTube took away my monetization on this channel. So I don't even know if I'm going to keep this channel, because I have another channel. If you guys aren't subscribed to my other channel, I do have another channel called The Rep Report, where I do sneaker reviews, and I upload like every week, every other week on that channel, and I have been. But that channel is like this close to being monetized. Like, I almost have the watch hours, I have the subscribers, and with this channel, all my watch hours are gone. Like, I'm down to 500. I have to have 4,000 to get monetized on this channel, and not putting out any content over the next 5 months isn't going to help me do that. You know, so what I'm thinking about doing is kind of just taking this other channel, the Rep Report, and when I move over to Southeast Asia, just changing the name of the channel, taking down the sneaker content, and then kind of just reinventing the channel and just making that my, you know, Thailand, Southeast Asia channel. So I guess I'll let you know here, you know, within the next 5 months if I'm going to do that or not. And then, you know, I'll give you guys like a month after I get over to Thailand to kind of switch over before I completely delete this channel and just make the other channel my main channel. But I got to do it because, you know, the monetization part of this is like a big part of the whole puzzle of me actually moving over here, because I have to have some kind of income coming in, you know, at least $1,000, $2,000 a month just to survive over there. So look forward to all of that. You know, and like I said, to those of you who have been here from the very beginning, this is like the next wave in what's to come here for my life. So I genuinely appreciate you guys subscribing. I genuinely appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Just hang in there with me another 5 months. The first week of December, I'm not going to give you guys the exact date, but the first week of December, I will be in, I'm flying directly into Bangkok, Thailand, initially. And, and I'm going to kind of make that my home base, and then kind of branch out from there into the region, to the other countries. So hang in there with me. Stick it out. I promise all of this is going to be worth it. I genuinely appreciate you guys. And yeah, 5 months from now, Bangkok, Thailand. I'll see you guys there. Peace.